So we have a little bit of an issue. This issue is actually good news, but bad news as well. And it has to do with mortgages, your real estate, and the people that live around you. So I'm going to break down what's going on, why some experts believe this is actually a warning sign of what's to come, but yet others say this is great because now people that have been waiting to get into a home could be right there. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So let's start off by giving you the warning. The warning that many people are talking about is that people are about to leave. Everybody is going to leave the big cities. They don't want to be there. They want to cash in on their real estate and they want to move to the suburbs. They want to move to a less expensive city. That's what we're hearing. Right now that employers are cutting jobs. We're seeing layoffs in the thousands. This is going to be troubling to millions and millions of people. But there is something else that could actually benefit from. And that is this. Look at this right here. It says buyers catch a break. Home prices just fell the most in 2 years. Okay. But why? What's going on at this time? Well, let's get into the facts here. It says home prices are being cut at the fastest pace in 2 years. The share of home listings that saw a price cut rose to 18.9% in July, up 3.4% from last year. I've seen this firsthand. My neighbor was trying to sell their home. They were trying to sell their home and they actually cut, it was probably close to 10 to 15% in the matter of 2 weeks because they couldn't get their house sold. They wanted to sell it that quick. So in 2 weeks, about 10 to 15%. Yeah, it's crazy. Look at this. It says demand is cooling as buyers wait for mortgage rates to ease. This is exactly what I told one of my friends as well. They wanted to list their house, very nice house, him and his wife. And I told him, just be patient because what's going to happen is buyers are going to come in, look at all the different homes that are there, and then they're going to wait for interest rates to start to drop. That's what they want. Why would we buy a house today when in 1 month we could see interest rates drop? Potentially 25 basis points, 50 basis points? Why would we overspend? Now I want to read you a few things. Okay, here are some comments and messages I received recently. And I'll just listen to this one. This person says, and I quote, "Everybody will leave the city. We are already seeing people put their homes on the market and then they leave. They're looking for a way to cash out of their high-priced homes and then they return to the suburbs to save some cash. This will likely be the trend going into next year." Well, think about this for a second. If people are leaving the cities and they don't want to come back, are they going to keep their jobs? For some employers, they are allowing people to work from home, do remote work. Others, they say you have to come in and you have to work. Now, I have a pretty close friend who works for Google. And Google was requiring him to come into the office and work multiple days a week. He didn't want to do that because he lived about 4.5 hours away. Yeah, it's a little bit of a drive. And so they wanted him to come in multiple days a week. He said, no, I'm good for one. I can come in for 1 day. Now, he still works for Google. Last I heard that he's going to go in 1 day a week. Now, if these big companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and then those are just to name a few. If some of these companies decide we want our employees back in the office, we're going to do everything we can to get them back. And that means they cannot work from home. Well, here's the problem. All those people that sold their homes in the city and moved to the suburbs, moved to other states that were cheaper, no taxes, less taxes, they might have to come back. Or they're going to lose their job. So that's a little bit of an issue. Here's something else that I want to read you. Okay? This person wrote to me and said, and I quote, "I've worked at Home Depot for almost 17 years. I was hired during the beginning of the housing crisis in 2008 and saw everything that went down. What we are seeing today reminds me of the start of that crisis. People were rushing to get their homes ready to list. Homeowners wanted to put the cheapest materials in their homes, but asked for top dollar. We are seeing the same thing right now." Now, we actually went back and forth, had a very long conversation. What I thought was interesting is I remember Home Depot. I remember going into Lowe's back in 2007, 2008, and I was doing the same thing. Okay? I was putting just rental grade, just cheap stuff in the house I was renovating. And going back now, I would have done everything completely different. The home didn't sell. I kept it. I think we kept it for about 2 years. Then after 2.5 years, ended up selling it. Somebody else, end up buying it from that other person, and then we end up buying it back, okay, for less than what we sold it for. And so it was a good deal. But here's the thing. Here's what I think is interesting. This person says people are coming in. What this person's seeing today reminds this person of the start of the crisis. People are rushing to get their homes ready to list. I saw this the other day. I went into Home Depot just to get a few different parts for something, and you saw all these people in there, just husband and wife in there just trying to get material to renovate their home, do this project or that project, right? There was a lot of people in there. I thought it was crazy because I haven't seen that in a while. Here's another one. This person wrote to me and says, and I quote, "As a contractor, the past year has been a little slow, especially after all the builds we did during the pandemic. But recently we have been getting hammered with calls. Everybody wants a few things done so they can list their home. I had built relationships with many realtors, and now it is paying off. They are all calling at the same time." Even my friend who is a realtor told me this, that they expect interest rates are going to fall quite a bit by the end of 2024. I expect the same thing. And this is what they're telling their clients. But they also are saying that, will prices on homes drop as well? Possibly. But it's the interest rate that will make the greatest impact on their payment. Now, what I think is interesting about all this, we're seeing a surge in home listings, not necessarily in home sales, in listings. If we see listings go up, here's what you need to understand. And this is why I think this is a little bit of a problem. Because home prices and the value of one's home is usually reflected into their net worth. Okay? This is why I think this is somewhat troubling. So a home's price, or the value, the equity in it, is usually associated with the person's net worth. Well, as more people list their homes, home prices are going to fall. Technically and historically, when the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates, it usually pushes the home prices up. That didn't happen. And the reason, or that's probably not going to happen, because when they were raising rates, that should have pushed home prices down. It didn't do that. And so now some are a little concerned. We aren't going to see home prices potentially just fall. Or they could. And if they do, again, your net worth, the equity that you have in that home, starts to drop as well. So, I just want to share that with you because right now, that's what everyone's looking at. Could we see people come out and say, you know what? I'm going to list my home for $1 million. I'm not going to take a penny less. But yet all the other homes are starting to come down. 950,000, 920,000, 900,000, 885,000. We could see that. And you're still sitting on $1 million home, or you think you have $1 million home. What could happen very soon? And this is what some people are speculating. Those that have been trying to get out of a home, trying to get into a bigger home but are waiting, they could put an offer in on the bigger home. Make it contingent on them selling their home. So all these homes are going to be sitting there and just be pending because they are waiting for that contract to fulfill. But first, they have to sell their home. Again, a lot of problems could be heading our way, but we'll just have to sit here and wait. So, just wanted to share that with you, what is going on at this time, what we are currently seeing, what they're seeing in the real estate offices, and also at Home Depot. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.